he was in the car, wasn't he, Lyndon B?
Yeah, but they could if yeah.
He's willing to risk. He got shot as well, didn't he? Did he not?
No.
Okay.
No,
well, was he next to? Was he in the same car as JFK?
He wasn't I think he was in the car behind.
Okay.
So there, yeah, he's safe, mate, because he knows that. Oh, I've told the shooter, oh, shoot the first car, and then I'll duck down like, oh no, what's going on, guys? And then he's safe. They're not. He's not on the target. Old JFK is, mate.
Peckish for answers. Mysteries and conspiracies.
Ready when you are, Pat?
Anytime, mate.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Peckish for Answers. I'm Nick, and I'm joined with my friends Oscar.
Hello. Hi. Welcome back.
Reese.
Hey guys, welcome back to the best podcast in the world.
Yeah, so welcome back. And we're on our 5th episode.
Yes.
Yes.
But this is the first one that we're recording since we've released one. So all the feedback that we've had from the about 4 million views that we've had so far, we're going to incorporate into this video.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So today we're doing our first conspiracy. So we've been sticking to mysteries before this pretty much. So this is our first real conspiracy, and this one's a juicy one. There is a lot behind it. I've looked into quite a lot, listened to quite a lot, read quite a lot. On the JFK assassination.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's a really interesting one. Very interesting one. And there's a lot of context behind it, a lot of people, a lot of motive and characters involved. So there's a lot to it, a lot of history, a lot of context. So feel free, I can't say it all, so feel free to ask me questions at any point.
Yeah, well,
for me to clarify.
I don't.
Because I'm going to be giving you a very brief overview of certain aspects, but part of what I want the discussion to be is for you to deep dive into certain aspects, because I can answer a lot of questions that I won't be giving information on necessarily. But before I start, I'll say most Americans believe that there is a conspiracy here. Most Americans believe that there's a conspiracy involved. So I just want to know, before we start, what do you guys think? Do you think there's any conspiracy or not? You don't know much. I know you don't know much, Oscar.
Well, to be honest, I just know that he got shot by that bloke in the tower. And then he got arrested, Lee Harvey Oswald or whatever his name was. So, I don't really know politics and history. So, well, not very much anyway. So I have no idea what the conspiracy is really.
Well, I love politics and history. So, when Rolf said he was doing JFK, he asked me if I know a bit about it. I know some stuff. I know some conspiracies, but not as much as Rolf, I don't think. I am under the I think there was a conspiracy. I'm not going to. Do you want me to say what conspiracy you think?
No, save it. I think
save it.
Save it.
Okay, yeah. Well,
so you think rather than just
that there's several conspiracies, I think, but I believe in one conspiracy over the others more. And it'd be interesting to see if Rolf mentions this conspiracy, if not. So we'll see.
Well, I hope so, if he's done his research correctly.
Well, there's lots of conspiracies. But yeah, so I'm going to sort of start with the context of what's happening in the world in 1963. And then I'll move on to the events of the assassination. And then I'll sort of go into the post-assassination investigation. And then we can explore some theories together after that. And I can go into, more detail where you guys want it. And we'll stick some discussions in between all of that. So, to begin with some context, let me take you back to 1963. It's the height of the Cold War,
Hell
civil
yeah.
rights movement, and the Beatles have just released their first album.
Oh, wow. You've really set the scene, man.
Love some Beatles.
JFK has been serving as the 35th president of the United States for 2 years at this point. So, some context on our key players at this time.
So you're a key player.
Number one is the CIA. So, the CIA and Eisenhower, who was the previous president before JFK, had been coming up with this plan to invade Cuba, to kick out, basically, because Cuba at this time is controlled by Fidel Castro. It's communist, and it's the heart of the Cold War. They don't like the fact that Cuba's communist on their doorstep, so they want to overthrow Fidel Castro and install a government that's happy with Americans, basically. So the CIA and Eisenhower concoct this plan in which they are going to basically paint B-26 American bombers in Cuban colors, and they are amassing a force of ex-Cuban exiles, so Cubans who've exiled from the country because they didn't like the communist regime, and they're going to use them as an invasion force. So Eisenhower's very down for this. He loved the idea, but then obviously when JFK came in, he wasn't as keen on it. And the invasion force was like getting owned a bit. And so the CIA requested that JFK sent in the Air Force to back him up, basically. And JFK basically said no. So, yeah.
So Eisenhower, is the CIA not a government-owned, I don't know, corporation?
Yeah,
or
the
whatever?
CIA is.
So why does Eisenhower have sort of control over it? Why can he?
Eisenhower, the previous president, he concocted this plan with the CIA
when he was in charge.
When he was in charge, then he left office. JFK comes in, and this is one of the first things that the CIA are about to do. But they've been planning it for years, but they're about to pull it off.
Right, but is JFK authorizing it?
Well, yeah, he's authorizing it. Yeah.
Okay.
CIA though are kind of they'd like to play by their own rules, I think.
Well, the thing that I'm a bit confused about is how the CIA have got bombers that they're allowed to just paint and take to Cuba when it's JFK who's president.
Well, I guess they would have come up with this plan under Eisenhower, and then basically JFK was like, okay. I don't know the full details on this, all right? It's not, I guess this part isn't this.
Oh, okay. I'm just...
But anyway, the fact of the matter is that Kennedy did not authorize air support for them. Which led to the total capture of all the invaders within 3 days. So the total failure of this CIA operation, basically.
Okay.
And Kennedy was pretty upset about the whole failed plan, and the fact that they were asking him to authorize U.S. Air Force and stuff like this. So he fired the head of the CIA, called Alan Dulles. So the CIA were not very happy with Kennedy after this. He also said that he wants to splinter the CIA into thousands of pieces and scatter it to the wind. He said that, and cut the CIA funding by 20%. But he never got a chance to carry out his cutting of the CIA funding by 20%. Yeah.
Interesting.
Not sure if you can guess why, but we'll get onto that.
No, not sure, mate.
So the CIA was not a big fan of JFK.
Okay.
Another element is another Cold War element is that in Vietnam, this time we got Vietnam is splintered into the communist North and the American-backed South. And Eisenhower basically began the decision to start arming the South and sending, a small amount of American troops there. In 1963, Kennedy made the decision to remove the first contingent of American soldiers from Vietnam, which, like a lot of people, saw as the start of pulling back from Vietnam. Now, again, the CIA didn't like this because they were very much supporting the idea of, sending more troops to Vietnam, because they wanted to, they didn't want the communist North to overtake the South, basically. So again, they didn't like this idea that Kennedy was pulling back. So yeah, so that's stuff with the CIA.
The CIA seem a bit. It's like they're their own like party or something, or like their own force.
Well, that's also, I think, the thing is that like Kennedy probably thought they had a bit too much power as well, and that's why he said he wanted to
sounds like
the
it.
Wind.
Yeah.
And then in terms of where we are with the Cold War, is this is like the height of the Cold War, and JFK has literally just negotiated the removal of missiles from Cuba. So the Cuban Missile Crisis, basically, he's just put a stop to that. So that's like arguably one of the closest we've ever got to World War III. We're just past that now. So there's a lot of tension between the Soviets and the Americans, and obviously, the Soviets don't really like the Americans very much at all in this situation. Moving on to the civil rights movement. So JFK begins the push for the basically the civil rights movement is going on now. JFK's pushing like legislation through to essentially desegregate the South. Well, desegregate everything, but including the South. And the South are very happy about that. And so the KKK especially are not happy about that at all. And the KKK isn't as big as they were in the 1920s at this point, but they are still quite dangerous. They are carrying out violent attacks, they're bombings, and they're killing civil rights activists and, disrupting black communities. So this is very much, they don't like what JFK is doing, and they're causing a lot of violence, and, there's a lot of angry, racist Southerners, basically. So that's our context. Those are some of the players. We've got the CIA, we've got the KKK, we've got the Cubans. The ex-Cubans are also quite upset because, a load of them have been sent to basically invade Cuba, and JFK is basically like, we're not going to give you any support. So they're pretty pissed off at JFK. So you've got the ex-Cubans, the Cubans, the KKK, the CIA, and the Soviets. Lots of play.
It's like that song. What's that song? The CIA and the Crips and the KKK.
Oh right, yeah.
Is it Black Eyed Peas?
We didn't start the
Black
fire,
Eyed Peas.
but it's all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's very relevant considering this is 20th century history.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll move on to the interesting stuff. Okay.
I thought that was really interesting.
The assassination. So JFK, like I said, second year of his presidency, he is, it's 1963, and the elections are in 1964, and he wants to go down to Texas basically and do a big political trip around Texas to try and drum up some support in the South, basically, and sort of get the South on side and show them that he's still, a good guy, whatever. But the thing you should know about Kennedy is he's very charismatic. He's the youngest president at this point as well. Very charismatic. He's a war hero. He's very good looking.
He's a ladies' man. He's a ladies' man.
Yeah, he's an absolute ladies' man. He is having constant affairs.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I sorry to interrupt, but I read somewhere that he had so the secret tunnels going into the where the White House, and he used to apparently sneak women in through the secret tunnels.
Yeah,
that's pretty legendary.
Marilyn Monroe, apparently.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, him and Marilyn used to get it on.
You fair, that is pretty cool. If you just say, "Oh, do you want to come back to mine?" and then you sneak them in through a secret tunnel.
He did have a wife, though, Oscar. He did have a wife.
Yeah, but he's the president. Did she know at the time?
She knew. Yeah.
Yeah. But
But yeah, I mean, his dad was also a serial womanizer, so that's why he was brought up in that kind of way. So that's where he gets it from to some extent.
What was his dad? What was his dad? Was he ever president?
No, he wasn't the president, but he was a very rich businessman, basically.
Okay.
But yeah. So anyway, so they're in. Oh, and the other thing you should know is that JFK's got really bad health as well. Like, he's really ill.
Really?
He's got some bad injuries from the war. His back is absolutely fucked, so he has to wear a back brace at all times, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's constantly on pain medication. Like, he's seriously ill.
How did he get injured in the war, or just general war stuff?
In the war, he was like a. Was it like a? It wasn't a torpedo boat, but it was a little boat. He was a captain of like a little boat, and in the Pacific, and he got rammed by a destroyer, which ripped it into shreds. And they were in the middle of the sea, and they swam to an island, and he was one of his colleagues, well, not his colleagues, I don't know what you call them, the team
fellow soldiers,
comrades, maybe, yeah.
Soldiers
was like really badly injured. So
teammate
he bit down on his lifeguard with his teeth. And he swam for 4 hours to the island with this guy, carrying the guy in his teeth, like with the lifeguard. And like they went to an island, and then like they held out there for like 3 days. Then some locals arrived in boats, and they wrote a message on a coconut, and they gave it to the locals, and they like went over to the Australians, and they delivered the coconut with the message on it.
Really? That's pretty sick. That's pretty sick.
I didn't know that. That's
respect.
Yeah, so he's regarded as a big wartime hero. So that obviously adds to like his, charisma. He's got a 70% approval rating at this point, which is ridiculously high. Like, for reference,
that's madness. Yeah,
which is insane. Like, Trump's got like 20%, which isn't saying much, but
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't think Obama even had that.
No. I think this is probably the highest we've had in like modern times. It's ridiculously high. Okay, so anyway, so he's in Texas. He's doing this big thing so that he can gain gunner support in Texas. And Texas is a very key state to win. So he also only won the last election by a very small amount, but he should win this one because he's very loved. Anyway, the Secret Service is also very nervous, as Dallas has a reputation of being a strong right-wing city with like a lot of opposition to Kennedy, like I said, without the civil rights movement and everything. So, and the other interesting little factoid is, in the hotel room before they go on this little motorcade through the city, JFK quotes, "It would not be very difficult job to shoot the president," when he's looking out the window.
Really?
Of like all this lots of like high-rise buildings, lots of windows. And he says that, which is interesting. But so their plan is to essentially go on a motorcade through the city. He's going to get out. He's going to shake people's hands, wave. He's got his wife with him. It's just a big meet the president kind of thing, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
And once they do that, they're going to go back home for their son's 3rd birthday party, which they can't wait for.
Okay.
So they're going through. JFK's like shaking everyone's hands. He's like getting out. He's giving people a pat on the head, whatever. And then he's going through one of the streets, and his someone says to him, like, "Mr. President, they can't make you believe now that they're not some in Dallas who love you and appreciate you, can they?" And then JFK says, "No, you certainly can't." And then JFK gets shot. So shots ring out initially. Governor Connolly, who's next to him, is shot in the back and the leg. JFK is initially shot through the neck. But like I said earlier, he's got back brace on, so he can't duck. So you've got Lyndon B. Johnson, who's his vice president, is in the back, and he's just ducked down after he's had the shots. But here's JFK's been shot in the neck, and he can't move because he's got this fucking back brace on, so he's like stuck up there. And then he gets shot in the head, and his skull blows up, basically.
What? So So there's quite a few shots. It's not like just one shot.
Yeah.
Kills him. Shots. It's like... okay. So the first one misses him, hits the guy next to him.
It's like nobody really knows what's going on. First one misses. Some people in the car are aware. They're like, shit, that was a shot. But no one in the crowd really knows. It could be anything. And then the second one, boom, through
neck.
JFK's neck.
And then head.
And then boom, head. And yeah, so the one that goes through his neck, I think like that's also the one that goes through Governor Connolly's back and leg or something like that. But anyway, yeah, then his head blows up, brain shoots out, wife catches part of the brain in her hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
How fucked is that?
I mean, that's...
And the wife says,
it's fucked, but it's real.
I've got his brains all over me or something, which is insane.
Damn. I've seen the video online.
It's pretty, like, it's obvious he's dead. But anyway, they carry him off, they take him to a hospital, and they pronounce him dead 30 minutes later. But, like, it's clear that he's dead already.
Yeah.
Because they're already, like, when they're taking him to the hospital, one of the Secret Service men says, we need to get the president out of here. And he's referring to the vice president. So they're basically the vice president.
Yeah. Well, if everyone's seen his brain just get blown out, then he's obviously going to...
Yeah. So Lyndon B. Johnson gets sworn in as president like a couple hours later or something like that. And they essentially fly back to Washington. Because, as well, they're like, shit, what if they're trying to kill the vice president as well? So they need to get him
safe. Yeah, I see.
So, yeah. And the Texas hospital, they want to do an autopsy. That's part of their law. They need to do an autopsy on the body because it's dead now. And basically, the vice president and the Secret Service basically said, no, we're taking him to Washington to do an autopsy. We're not letting you guys do it. We're doing it.
Who was doing the autopsy, did you say?
Texas hospital wants to do the autopsy as it's part of their law. But they, the vice president, everyone were like, no, we're taking him, we're doing the autopsy.
Well, how much can they find? Like, surely in the autopsy, they're just like, oh, yeah, he got shot in the head.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's like, it's kind of pointless, but it might come into...
I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know if they can, find the trajectory and stuff from the autopsy or whether...
Come into reference later.
Yeah. Okay.
So, essentially what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you... So basically then there's obviously now a big manhunt for Lee Harvey Oswald. Or well, we don't know the time that's Lee Harvey Oswald.
Or whoever shot,
a big manhunt for the shooter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to the start of the shooting and I'm going to take it through in Lee Harvey Oswald's footsteps because I think it's a more interesting story that way.
Okay, yeah.
Lee Harvey Oswald is on the 6th floor of the bookshop, this big bookstore at the moment that he's working at. And he's just shot some shots. President's died. He's like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. He goes down to leave the bookstore. Policeman comes up the stairs. Says like, oh, hold on. The other policeman next to him says, oh, it's all right. I know this guy. He works here. He can go. Walks out the building. Yeah. So he walks out the building.
Do the policemen know that there's just been a shooting, or are they already in the building? They've maybe not heard.
There's just been a shooting. Yeah. So they're trying to look for the guy.
And that is crazy.
They don't know where it's at this point. They're not sure. They don't know where it's come from, but they're just they're searching through some buildings.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, he gets on a bus, gets stuck in traffic, gets out the bus, gets in a taxi, goes home, gets changed, leaves, sees a policeman or a police car, and goes over to it. Maybe to try and not look that suspicious. So he goes over to the police car. And there's a witness sees this and sees him chatting to the policeman, and then the policeman gets out the car, and then this guy called Lee Harvey Oswald just kills him.
The policeman?
Yeah, he just shoots the policeman. Yeah, I suspect that the policeman was probably being a bit suspicious about him, don't know about this guy, and so he just kills the policeman.
Yeah, why would he go up to the policeman in the first place?
I think he was trying to be why would the shooter walk out to a policeman? Like an anti type of thing.
Yeah, but if he's already gone home, escaped, gone home, got changed, it's not like there's 20 people there and he's trying to look not suspicious by going up to the policeman. There's millions of people in it.
So people looked up. People saw him in this 6-story window. So at this point, the police have a good idea of what the guy looks like.
I see. Yeah.
So his pictures, around. Well, not his picture, sorry, but like his descriptions around, basically. So people know what he's doing at this point. So he can't. It's a bit harder for him, but he obviously needs to get as far away as possible.
Yeah.
So anyway, he ducks into a shoe shop as like police sirens go past because they're obviously looking for him. The shoe shop owner notices that he looks a bit suspicious. It looks a little bit like the guy that the police are describing. So he tails him out of the shoe shop and tails him into the cinema. And when he gets to the cinema, he says to the cinema owner, "Did you see this guy just walk in?" She was like, "No, I didn't notice him." So she wasn't looking and he snuck in, basically. So they're like, "Okay, well, he must be in the cinema somewhere. Let's call the police." So police get called, come over. They find Oswald just sitting there watching a movie. And then he sees the police and he goes, "Well, it's all over now." And then he tries to grab his gun, but the police like tackle him to the floor and they have a little scuffle. And then he gets arrested. Now, he's back at the police station and he's being interrogated by Captain Will Fritz. Will Fritz basically said he stayed calm and composed the whole time and basically just denied everything. He just completely denied everything. They are like certain he killed the policeman in the car because the witness saw that and it's a bait. That's clear.
Yeah,
but they're pretty certain he killed the president as well.
Yeah.
And he's saying weird shit like he's like so calm and he was like, I heard you fry for murder in Texas, something like that. Which is like, why would you say that if you're innocent, kind of thing. So it's a bit weird. But very calm, very composed, and just totally chill. And he kept proclaiming that he'd been set up. Basically, he kept saying, "I'm a patsy," which was saying like, "I've been set up. It wasn't me. This is all fake." The next day, while they're trying to take him to the county jail, there is like tons of press outside. Like this is obviously a big story. They basically announced that they're pretty certain it's him. Like they're almost sure it's him. So anyway. They take him out of the county jail, and just as they take him out, a local nightclub owner and Kennedy fan named Jack Ruby shoots Lee Harvey Oswald and kills him.
I forgot he got shot. I remember now.
Yeah.
Because I've seen there's a video, isn't there? I've seen that as well.
So,
okay.
Jack Ruby shoots and kills Lee Harvey Oswald. And he gets sent to prison. He was going to get the death sentence, but it got what's the word when it gets
reduced?
Rescinded?
No, that's not the right word. But yeah, it gets reduced or whatever. Anyway, he dies of cancer a couple of years later anyway.
So Lee Harvey Oswald so he doesn't die from the gunshot, he survives,
Jack
he's
Ruby,
fine.
The guy who shoots Lee Harvey Oswald dies of cancer.
But Lee Harvey Oswald...
Lee died.
Oh, Lee's dead.
Died when he got shot, mate.
Ironically, Lee got taken to the same hospital that JFK got sent to, and they were like,
"Man,
we can't really send him to the same operating theatre, so we put JFK."
That's the true. That's the true conspiracy right there.
Okay, why is that? The hospital that JFK was meant to go to, or the place
he did go. JFK went to hospital.
Yeah, JFK got sent to the hospital where they pronounced him as dead.
And Lee Harvey.
But the autopsy that they didn't do the autopsy.
Yeah, Lee went there the same hospital.
Yeah.
It's just a major hospital.
So few people turned up to Oswald's funeral that his casket had to be carried by the reporters there as well.
I would have gone. Just to be in line.
So yeah, there you go. That's the assassination. That's the events of the day. Before we move on to the initial investigation, let me know your thoughts and any questions. But I'm not going to answer anything that doesn't relate to this exact day or the context behind the...
Okay, I'm still slightly... I'm conscious that in these podcasts I feel like I sound like a bit of an idiot, but it's because I just want to... I want to line things out.
Be as idiotic as you can, because
I don't understand why it's so suspicious. That hospital that JFK went to, that he was pronounced dead at, they weren't allowed to do the autopsy, or they didn't do the autopsy there, and they got taken away. So you're kind of insinuating that it's suspicious that the guy died of cancer in that hospital.
No, No.
That's what you
died of
said.
cancer in that hospital.
We
said Lee.
Oh, sorry.
He then got taken to the hospital that JFK died.
Yeah. Sorry. That's what I mean. But
Oscar,
why is that?
I think you're focusing
suspicious?
on the wrong thing here. I don't think that is suspicious. It's not suspicious at all. I was joking. I was joking when I said, "Oh, that's the real conspiracy."
Oh, but Rolf, you were like, interestingly, he got taken to the same hospital.
It's just like an interesting factoid, isn't it? Like,
it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
They got shot in the same place.
Yeah, I know, but
you're
focusing on the completely wrong thing.
It's just funny, like, oh, he shot someone who's died. The next day, he gets shot and goes the same. It's not okay. You know, forget it.
Forget it, mate.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget it. This makes you look like an idiot, but
you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah, but I have to be clear on the picture. Maybe that I'm not. Yeah, okay.
Go on.
Yeah, you go.
To be honest, because I said at the start, I do know about JFK and stuff, so I knew pretty much most of that. But it's an interesting case. It's interesting. You still haven't mentioned. I don't want to say it yet.
Well, don't say it.
Still haven't mentioned the conspiracy that I think, which is interesting.
Well, you don't mention
any conspiracies yet. I'm just giving you.
Well, true, yeah, but you haven't. No, but you haven't mentioned any. A player that would be in my conspiracy, yet, but maybe you will. No, but it's an interesting case. I mean, Oscar, like, what do you think? Because I'm interested.
Yeah, what do I think? I mean,
I already have like a pre.
What do you think so far? I mean, what do you think about the fact that? What do you think's happened here? Do you think there's a conspiracy? What do you think about the fact that Jack Ruby shot and killed Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the police should have secured the area. Like, what are they doing?
What are they doing?
But
yeah,
I mean, there's been a lot of assassinations in America, so it's clearly, I know there's just been one, and then technically there's been another one the next day, but it seems like, if someone really wants to, they've got an all right chance of doing it. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not, I don't think it's like dead on that just because Lee Harvey Oswald's now been shot, that there's a conspiracy or whatever against it. I think it just could very easily be that someone's pissed off, shot him, and then someone's pissed off at him and just shot him.
Yeah. I personally think that because Lee Harvey Oswald got so I do think there's a conspiracy afoot. I think, but I do know prior stuff. But I think there's Lee Harvey Oswald isn't he wasn't.
Christ!
He wasn't.
Oh my god!
I know, fucking hell.
All right, mate.
Thinking about his food later.
He wasn't the main guy. I think someone put him, or not someone, but some people have put them up to this. Could be CIA or something else, and then they're worried that he's going to talk when he is in prison, or investigation, and they decided, well, we might as well just get rid of him.
The thing is with this sort of thing, like, there's always going to be conspiracies for things like this, especially when there's like people are going to look into why people didn't like JFK and all this stuff with the CIA and the whatever the old president's name was, I can't remember. It could easily have just, the way I see it right now, I know there's probably going to be more evidence and whatever, or theories to suggest that it's a conspiracy. But the way I see it right now, it's got to be very compelling that it's not just like a murder, because otherwise everything's just going to be conspiracy that ever happens. Do you know what I mean? You can't just.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Maybe
until I see any president that gets shot. If Trump got shot tomorrow, there'd be conspiracies that it's because of this or because of that. So like,
maybe you benefit to some more investigation.
Yeah, please.
So after investigating, so they start investigating this Lee Harvey Oswald fella. Interesting piece number 1. Turns out Oswald has a Soviet passport. Interesting.
Yeah.
And the next other component of this is, so obviously there's people in the crowd who said they saw Lee Harvey Oswald in the bookshop on the 6th floor. But there is also some people who claim they hear shots from the grassy knoll. Now, a knoll is basically like a bank, so like a grassy bank. And there's this grassy bank that's quite near to basically where the president was passing over, very close by. So there is a theory that builds that there was a second shooter at the grassy knoll. So people claiming they heard shots from there. And the other element to this is when JFK got shot, his head moved back and to the left. So if he got shot from the grassy knoll, back and to the left. Bullet came from behind, shot him here. If it was from Lee Harvey Oswald, shot him back of the head here. Boom, head goes back and to the left. So lots of people are like, right, how the hell could his head go back into the left if he got shot in the back of the head?
I'd argue that his brace that he's got on means that it can't do that, can it? That's what you said, right?
Move his head forward and back. That's all fine.
I thought you said he couldn't move his neck, basically.
No, he can't crunch. He can't roll over in a ball. Basically, he can move his neck fine. This is a back brace.
But then also, I would say a bullet. It's not got much sort of impulse. It's just in and out. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're getting hit with a basketball to the back of the head. It's penetrative. You know what I mean? And also, my argument for that grassy knoll could be that it's just the echo of the shot bouncing. If it's a bank or whatever, it could just be the echo coming back off.
Okay, that's I don't know if that's how it works, but sure.
Well, I know that's how it works.
Okay. So anyway, continuing on. Bring it back up. The autopsy was apparently a very shoddily done job. Now, I know you don't really care about the autopsy, so we can move on from that.
Okay.
But anyway, something called, because they know this is a big deal and there's going to be lots of people thinking there's a conspiracy going on, they set up something called the Warren Commission, which is basically a group of people who basically investigate this. And so Lyndon B. Johnson, who's now the current president, he's on this committee. A few other very high-ranking officials are on this committee, and so is Alan Dulles. Do you remember who that is?
The CIA guy he fired, head of CIA.
It is the CIA guy he fired, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So it's been said that the Warren Commission focused only on evidence that backed up their one bullet claim, and they basically produce it's a big old report they produce. And they conclude that Lee acted alone and that there's no conspiracy. So how convenient is that? Convenient.
Very convenient.
The ex-CIA head and Lyndon B. Johnson and the rest of these other officials just, don't worry, guys. There's no conspiracy. Okay.
But would the vice president, who's now the president, why would he be against JFK?
Power.
I don't know. Maybe because if JFK goes down, who's next in line to be president?
Him.
No, but surely they work, closely together.
Yeah, but Oscar, you're forgetting that power is very powerful, and people love power.
What a quote!
Yeah, what a quote!
And
the dragon.
It's corrupting. He's one step away from being president. All he needs to do is take out old Kennedy.
Yeah, and interesting.
But also, he was in the car, wasn't he, Lyndon B?
Yeah, but they could if
he's willing to risk. He got shot as well, didn't he? Did he not?
No.
Okay.
No, but
was he in the same car as JFK?
He wasn't I think he was in the car behind.
Okay.
So he's safe, mate, because he knows that. I've told the shooter. shoot the first car, and then I'll duck down like, oh no, what's going on, guys? And then he's safe. They're not. He's not on a target. Old JFK is, mate.
Lyndon B. Johnson, new president, he supported increasing the military power in the Vietnam, supported by the CIA, and then they increased the soldiers they were sending there. Just as a side note.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you know this, Rolf, but wasn't Lyndon B. Johnson a bit more like centre than JFK as well? He was a bit more like JFK was quite a liberal president, whereas Lyndon.
Well, yeah, I mean JFK was a bit centre left. I suppose Lyndon B. Johnson was a bit more to the right.
Not
really much, to be honest.
Not too much. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So anyway, people are not happy with this outcome. So lots of conspiracies still going around. So in 1975, they created something called the Church Committee, which reopens the investigation. And it comes to light that the CIA and the FBI actually held back info when they originally asked for it in the Warren Commission. I didn't tell them. It turns out the FBI actually knew about Lee Harvey Oswald for quite some time, and they were actually, keeping tabs on him. So they knew all about him, and they didn't say anything.
But what about him? What's he got?
Basically, they were keeping tabs on him because of his affiliation with the Soviets.
Yeah.
So was he American or was he
He's
a Russian American?
He's American.
Okay. How did he have a Soviet passport then?
Didn't have a Soviet passport, I believe. He was just
Soviet
passport. Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
He had one.
Surely that's got to be pretty hard to be in America with a Soviet passport at that time.
Okay, so what he did, I'll try and keep it brief.
Okay.
But I mean, this is more delving into maybe if we get to his backstory a bit more later. But the short story is that he went to the Soviet Union. He appears to be a big Marxist. He's got loads of, communist books. He's got tons of stuff related to the communists. He's joined multiple communist parties in America, and he goes to the Soviet Union. And he basically says to the Soviets, like, I don't like America. I want to join you guys. And they're like, okay, fine. Let him in. He lives there for a bit. He's like, don't really fancy this. And he asks America if he can come back, and he comes back.
Well, they allowed him to.
Yeah, and they allowed him to. That's the short story. But that's how he had.
Yeah, but they probably I guess when they said, "Oh, you can come back," they're definitely we're gonna keep tracks on this guy.
Yeah, I mean, because he could just be a spy or something.
He's come back from back from Soviet Union. Yeah.
Just seems very plausible, like an American going to Russia and then coming back. Feels like it could be a pretty obvious spy.
In 1976, the USA also created a committee called the House Select Committee on Assassinations, which is looking into the JFK assassination, and they also looked into the Martin Luther King assassination. And they concluded that Kennedy was probably killed as a result of some sort of conspiracy, and that Oswald likely didn't act alone. They analysed audio from another video and confirmed that there was a 50% chance that a sound representing a gunshot came from the grassy knoll. And the Church Committee, I talked about just before, also had used a newly discovered audio analysis technology to analyse another video. And in this audio from this tape, when they analysed it, they could hear 6 shots, which would have been impossible to Harvey to fire off in that time because he had a rifle. And also on this tape that they've got, you could see puffs of smoke on the grassy knoll in time with the shots. Interestingly, after they showed this in court, the tape disappeared.
How did it disappear?
Yeah, I don't know. CIA probably made it go because it was a very damning evidence.
Just got lost.
Evidence gets lost all the time, man. Oscar doesn't believe it.
Well, I'm torn.
I can
Because 6 shots, right? 3 echoes. That's 6 shots. Also, what I don't like, that 50% chance that they concluded from that audio video. What does that mean? How do you analyze audio and then come up with a percentage chance
I don't know.
You know,
well,
that doesn't make sense to me.
Like
there's got to be some
weird math.
Because I'm just very skeptical of things that poke into conspiracy without actually providing proper evidence. Because then anyone could do that. If you've got good evidence that it leads towards a conspiracy, then yeah, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure you probably could, like, Google the ins and outs of how they did that 50%. Rolf probably doesn't have that information because it's just like really detailed and would take
it just doesn't make sense to me how you can get a percentage chance from an audio clip. Would it ever be like 46.9%, 50%? Yeah. But okay.
Another thing you might want to know is that the CIA still refuses to release more than 4,000 documents pertaining to the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, you see, this to me is the strongest evidence, which is starting to make me think that it was something to do with the CIA. The fact that they knew Lee Harvey Oswald and they held back evidence, and that footage went missing. They're the strongest arguments for me.
Yeah.
And what motive would you have to hold back evidence? That there would be none.
The thing is, the CIA...
So the argument is that it makes the FBI look bad. If they basically say like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, we've been tracking this guy for ages and we let him kill the president.
But then if they held it, they must have released enough so that people knew that they knew, because it's come out now. So how did they
start digging into it in this church committee?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's quite common practice for the CIA to they don't like releasing a lot of files when on things, just because I think
makes sense, because it can.
I think they use the fact of we're in secret intelligence as a cover to not release stuff. I guess.
And also when you release certain evidence, it can sort of hamper the investigation.
Yeah, exactly. It can also it can be linked to other things that are going on in the CIA maybe and stuff like that. They don't want that released.
Yeah,
they do it all the time.
I'm trying to decide whether I think it's a lone act or whether it's the CIA.
I don't think it can't. I just don't think it's a lone act at all, really. I think Lee Harvey Oswald has the motive almost because of his communist background. He obviously probably doesn't like JFK because the whole Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that. But I just don't think he did it on his own. It's such a ballsy thing to do, isn't it? Just assassinate the president.
Yeah, but there's been other assassinations. People are crazy, and people are crazy. Have guns. Someone tried to assassinate Trump, and was there a motive for that?
That's another conspiracy, maybe for another episode.
God,
we're on a conspiracy podcast, Oscar. You're gonna.
Yeah, I know, but
you can't get mad at every conspiracy.
I'm not getting mad. I'm not getting mad. I just don't know. Not sure.
I definitely think he didn't act alone. I think I don't think it was just the CIA though. I think there was another player involved, maybe.
I just think
yeah.
I mean, I know.
Who's the other person that you said you wonder how Mo's going to mention it earlier?
I can mention it now if you want. Yeah. So I don't know if you know, Rolf, about JFK's relationship with Israel around the time he got assassinated. Do you know?
No. Well, maybe I read a tiny bit, but that's not the main source of.
No. So it's like a theory that doesn't. I mean, it could be. So basically, there's just this theory where don't you dare say it. I would do you. So initially, I think JFK had a quite good relationship with Israel, but then even doing arms deals with them and stuff. But then there was these letters sent back and forth between the Prime Minister of Israel and JFK, and they kept getting basically it was all to do with Israel wanting to start their nuclear bomb like manufacturing, and JFK was very against the idea. And apparently, it started the letters started quite like diplomatic, and then apparently JFK started getting more and more frustrated with Israel and more angry with them. And I think there was one, he threatened them, like, if you dare do it, we're cutting all ties, kind of thing, like, which is a big thing between America and Israel. Israel's like America and Israel, big allies. And I think it was like 5 months later, then the JFK assassination happened. But I don't know. I think there is holes in that one, I think, though.
Which one do you believe then?
I kind of believe in a combination of two. I think
it can't be a combination.
Why not? Like, I think the CIA and Mossad, which are Israel's secret intelligence service, they talk all the time. I think.
But then this involves two countries, probably thousands of people. There's no way of keeping that under. I mean, there might be a way.
What do you mean?
But the chances.
There's loads of ways to keep that undercover.
And there are,
it doesn't have to be thousands of people. It doesn't have to be thousands of people. Like, CIA, it could be just a department in the CIA and then a department in Mossad. They'd have to be massive, and then they work together because they both have common interest of, right, well, we want nukes, and JFK's really, really against it, and he's not letting us. And then CIA going, well, he wants to defund us. He hates us. He basically wants to break us up.
Did Israel start making nukes afterwards?
Yes. They are, I believe, the only Middle Eastern power to have nukes. Maybe Iran, if you want to go down that route.
Iran definitely doesn't.
We would know, I think, by now.
So, yeah, that I think is a theory.
It'd be so interesting just to ask.
Yeah,
like, people know what happened.
Yeah, obviously people know.
Yeah,
like, and I think also, Lyndon B. Johnson was maybe involved with that as well, because he's a supporter of, like you said, Vietnam War and CIA getting involved in that, and obviously probably be a supporter of them not getting defunded and having more resources put into the CIA, and like the CIA was such a, even though they're obviously controlled by the government, I guess they're a branch of the government, but they're such a, they do what they kind of want in a way. Like they'll obviously with president backing, but there's a lot of times where the CIA will just kind of start things and then tell the president later, and the president's like put in a very bad position. And there's been history of that before with the CIA. They do it all the time.
If it was the CIA, though, would they not have devised a better plan than just to get someone in a tower block visible and then just walk down the stairs?
What would they do instead, though? What would they do instead to kill him?
This is one of the arguments.
Pin it in a way. It's the CIA.
How could they base? The big argument against is how could it possibly be CIA or anyone else when Lee Harvey Oswald was so crap at what he did, almost.
Yeah,
but I think that. Do you know what? I think that actually backs that theory more in a way, because I think it's like the CIA can go, well, why would we employ Lee Harvey Oswald? He was awful. Like, he's
why would they?
But it's like it's that case.
But the point is that
it's saying why would we do that? That doesn't sound like us.
Yeah, but the point is that no one had to be found in the first place, so no one even had to say why would you hire this person.
But I don't know.
They could have.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
what do you think? Just like got found later. Like, if somehow he managed to get found later, or something else came out, then
exactly. It's definitely better to hire someone who's not part of the CIA and is a bit of a lowlife and a kind of nobody, because then you can pin it against that person. And then if it's a secret agent,
but if they're pinning it, then he's obviously going to talk.
Yeah,
that's why they killed him.
Yeah, but
they would have thought about that, surely.
He was interrogated for a whole day.
Yeah, but maybe he thought,
pro.
I'm not going to talk right now. Well, I don't know, but it could have been. But the thing is, it could have been like he might not have had Lee Harvey Oswald might not have had like direct contact with the CIA. It could have been done through proxies and things like that. I very much doubt if the CIA were involved, they wouldn't go up to Lee Harvey Oswald directly. It'd be through proxies. So Lee Harvey Oswald might have not even known he was getting controlled by the CIA. He might be. He thought he was getting controlled by, I don't know, a communist group or something like that, and was getting told to do it by them. So Lee Harvey Oswald, I believe there. I read about him. He wasn't like the cleverest guy either. Apparently, he was like quite.
He wasn't. He was very clever, very angry at school. Bit of a liked his reading. So he had a very bad upbringing. His mother was horrible.
Yeah. So like he's not. Yeah. So he could have been controlled by the CIA without knowing. I think.
Yeah, but I just feel like if it was the CIA, that they could just plan it better.
Do you think the CIA could like maybe like just like go into his, I don't know, poison him or something? But then there was coming the autopsy.
Well,
it's I generally think
I just think they could do it in at least a way that there wouldn't be a confirmed killer. You know, that so many people have seen his face and they've seen him walking down, and then he shoots a police officer.
If there's not a confirmed killer, then it kind of goes, ooh, what's going on there? Where is that killer? And then people start looking deeper into things, and then it's like, oh, the CIA have done this and they've done that, and then there's a relationship between this and that, and they start looking deep in stuff, and then then the CIA are in trouble. Whereas if they've got one guy to pin it on, it's like, right, well, Lee Harvey Oswald did it. He did it alone. We've, when they came out of the report initially, he did it alone. We found no evidence. Brilliant. And then it only later came out that there was certain evidence that was withheld and stuff. Like, they probably thought, that was quite a while after as well. I think you said 1976 or something, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's quite a while after, they probably thought, these people kind of forgot about it now, and we're fine.
All right. So I'm going to give you the last little tidbits of information I think are worth putting in.
Yeah.
So interestingly, Castro and the Soviets believed he'd been killed by right-wing Americans. That's what they thought at the time. And a former CIA director argued that Oswald killed Kennedy as part of a Soviet conspiracy. JFK Jr. thinks it was the CIA. But also a large number of scientists have concluded that the bullets coming from behind could make Kennedy's head move back into the left. So that kind of goes against that theory.
Okay.
And so I personally think that when I first heard about this, I thought there was a conspiracy when I first watched videos, and I really did think there was a conspiracy. But after looking into it I'm not so sure. So Oswald, has had a sort of motive. He's a bit of a loner all his life, and he's really into the Marxist stuff and all the communist stuff and the Soviet stuff. And he goes to the Soviet Union, comes back. He's looking for a reason to have some meaning, and he actually tries to assassinate a general a couple of years before that. So obviously but it doesn't get found out that it's him until later. So obviously he's trying to make a name for himself. He keeps thinking like maybe when he goes to the Soviet Union, he'll have a purpose. And he comes back to America, he'll have a purpose. And he keeps getting trodden on basically by society. And so he's angry at the world, and he wants to leave a mark. So assassinating the president's a pretty good way to leave a mark. Jack Ruby shooting him kind of makes sense. He's a big Kennedy fan. He says after he shoots him, they didn't want Kennedy's wife to have to come back for the trial and go through all that pain. So he just wanted to kill him and get it over with. And yeah, the evidence for the concept there's been 6 shots. It's relatively, it's not hard evidence that there's been 6 shots. Some people heard it. This video analyzer said that there might have been 6 shots. There's no hard evidence, and that tape got lost, so that we can't be using that. So there's a lot of weird shit happening. There's a lot of fuck ups. The CIA and the FBI look really dodgy, but it makes more sense to me that it's just a lot of dodgy coincidences. That's my opinion.
All right, nice. Oscar, do you want to go, or do you want me to go next?
Yeah, I sort of agree. I think with this sort of thing, I mean, a lot of the chances are that there's going to be at least something which could be a plausible motive that would lead to a conspiracy. And I think that there is just, I mean, considering he's the president, he's going to have certain enemies, just because he's got to make certain decisions.
Yeah,
so there's always
true.
going to be some sort of exterior motive. But yeah, there's not clear enough evidence to me that I would, innocent till proven guilty. So I think it's Lee Harvey Oswald, and then some guy was just really pissed because he had such good approval rating that most people did like him, and so he just got shot.
Yeah, I mean, I do what I take your points, and do you know what, they make sense. Yeah, America is full of, obviously the guns are everywhere. It makes sense that the guy just really loved Lee Harvey Oswald and was like, right, well, I'm just gonna kill him. I love Kennedy. Sorry. He really loved Lee Harvey Oswald, so he wanted to kill him. That's my theory. No, but I do think there was a conspiracy with the CIA or something. I think it's I do just love a conspiracy. I think it's the love for conspiracy in me that wants to believe it's a conspiracy.
Love of the game.
A little love of the game, really. But I do think there's quite strong evidence with the whole, Kennedy's relationship with CIA, and then him trying to defund them, and that's quite like a big thing for the CIA. Like, I don't think before any president would dare to do that to the CIA because it was so powerful, and for him to go, I'm saying all these comments about I'm going to split you up into 1,000 pieces and trying to defund them and not backing them in invasion of Cuba. I think that's a really powerful thing for a president to do, and I don't think the CIA liked it at all, because it took the power away from them, which I think the CIA love. So yeah, I do think the CIA were definitely involved. I think they used Lee Harvey Oswald as a kind of scapegoat. I don't think they, contacted him directly. I think they did it through a proxy. Maybe like infiltrated a communist. See, the second shooter thing, I don't know about that, because I think if the CIA are involved and they've gone to the trouble of going to pin it on a guy like Lee Harvey Oswald, having a second shooter is kind of silly in a way. Yeah, it guarantees. Yeah, it could get caught, but it guarantees he dies, obviously. But then it's like, I don't know. It's just such a weird. I don't think there's a second shooter. To be honest, I think it goes against the narrative, and I think also like it's where he gets shot. There's so many high-rise buildings and stuff, like echoes, and it could be maybe not a shot, but like it could have been, I don't know, someone did something, like it could be anything that made that noise.
This is what I mean though. Like, people have come up with this conspiracy now that there's a second shooter. You can't have all these conspiracies can't be true. So it shows that conspiracies are just generated when other conspiracies, when there's talk about it, which is what conspiracy theories.
That's what conspiracy theories do, though, don't they? They always go off like, oh, there's one, Oscar. Conspiracy theories always gonna go in the tangent, but I don't think there's a second shoot. I think the CIA did it. They pinned it on him, Lee Harvey Oswald, through a proxy. They contacted him, and yeah, that's my theory.
Yeah, well, I think that's fair. I do think that the only plausible theory is that out of all those players, CIA is the only one that could.
Yeah.
Is the
Soviets. That's the most likely.
The Soviets would never do it. I mean, it would like
The argument is that
they'd be crazy
the
for them to
CIA
do it.
actually had reason, whereas the motive for all the other groups is pretty shit.
Yeah, it's pretty weak. Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Soviets, no,
yeah. So that's.
I really enjoyed that. That was really good.
It's good.
That's the
good, Ralph. Yeah.
JFK conspiracy.
Leave your comments.
I'm thinking that it wasn't. You're thinking it wasn't Oscar, and you're thinking it was the CIA, Reese.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day we'll find out.
But yeah, leave your comments in the comment box under the video. What do you think? Do you agree with me, the most sexy and clever guy, or do you agree with Oscar, the smelliest, or do you agree with Ralph?
Well, me and Ralph think the
weirdest?
Same thing. So okay, whatever.
The smelly and weird guy or the pretty guy. So.
Or you don't have to agree with any of us. You can have your own opinion. Because
your own opinion, yeah.
We're not closed-minded.
It was aliens again.
And if it was you, then comment down below if you killed.
Comment down below if you killed Kennedy.
We won't tell anyone.
To be fair, the guy that interrogated him, Will Fritz, grew up in Roswell around the time that the Roswell crash.
It's aliens. I knew it.
Right,
I take it back. It wasn't CIA. It was aliens. Right. They did it. They built the pyramids.
And
we need to sign off.
JFK was saying he was going to go to the moon. He said he's going to send men to the moon. Don't think the aliens like that one.
It all makes sense. Oh my god.
We need to sign off because my phone is about to run out and it will fuck the thing.
Right.
So let's sign off.
Who's next week?
It's Reese's episode.
Me, yeah. It's just I can't actually remember the.
It can be a surprise.
What was it? A surprise?
We'll do it a surprise. It's a mystery. We're back to mysteries next week. It's not a conspiracy. It's a mystery, and it takes place in Australia, somewhere we haven't looked at yet.
All right, mate.
All right.
Well, thanks, Nick, and
cheers.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
Later. See you next week. Bye bye.